Hello gamers and welcome to another YouTube video. The series continues of all the tanks that have gotten pretty significant buffs and are they worth to play for you now. Today it's going to be on a Chinese classic turned from old to potentially gold. Alright, so there's a whole list of changes, but as per usual, a lot of these are for stock configuration and only some of the from the top configuration. Engine power buff, I feel like every tank we've covered so far is engine power buff. And then a little bit of traverse speed. The top forward speed getting improved as well. It's all really important to note. That in combination with engine. And then, of course, extra health points to 1700. That's a trend for all of these tier rates. It's better for trading. You know, like it makes it better to trade against higher tiers, like tier 9s, for example, when you do see them, or even against your own tier, right? And then, of course, gun handling, you know, dispersion, aiming time, and some AP penetration, but we don't shoot that anyway. So, across the board, comfort buffs, as I would call them. So, like this, the 110 really doesn't look that bad, right? Against its own gun, right? You know, the turret classic, around the, where it becomes a bit more flat, the cupolas. But the difficulty of the 110 is not when it is hold on. The difficulty is of when you're just playing it regularly. This lower plate is pretty big and easy to shoot at, but as with every pike, this is the most optimal peak, right? Straight front, but ideally, straight front peaks don't really exist unless you're playing hold on. You see, the pike gets really weak on the sides when you start angling, and that is what makes this tank so difficult to play. IMO is the fact that its armor doesn't really and won't really hold up in most situations. But if they're not shooting at your lower plate, they're going to be shooting you through that upper plate, especially for those higher pin guns as well, right? So, welcome to the first battle, the introduction to the 110. Let me set up by saying that I think this is a potent tank. I know this is the name of the game. However, I want to point out as well that this is the name of the game simply because, well, I don't really end up playing tanks that are bad at the game. So you may wonder, like, oh my god, this guy always saying that the tank is potent. This tank is also always good. Yeah, that's because I don't find it weird to upload videos on bad tanks and just sit there for 20 minutes talking about how bad it is. That doesn't do anything for nobody, you know? So yeah, I guess most of the things that I end up playing are potent or above average or very good, you know? Because why would I waste my time and your time playing bad tanks? You know, it is what it is. Nobody wants to play bad tanks, and I definitely don't want to do that either. So for me, the 110, and you saw the changes, was already a good tank before the patch, just for me, in my perspective. And the buff is just helping that forward. That's kind of the name of the game for a lot of these tier rates that have gotten buffed. I honestly thought that they were pretty good before the patch and are just better after. I probably wouldn't have done most of the changes they did to those tier rates, but you know, they did do them anyways. So, you know, there's that. Going over the ammo here, you can see AP, APCR, HE, low pen HE, not that useful. So we get live oaks in tier 7. And live oaks in tier 7 kind of means you're a bully. We see an OI, an Oni, but he's more like, oh no, when we start shooting at him. I feel like now that I turned 30, I can get away with these kind of jokes. You know, they're so bad that we just classify them as a dad joke. And, you know, that's an excuse for making bad jokes, right? I think we can accept that. But yeah, this tank, honestly, I will say straight up, be honest about that. I think that this is something for the average or below average player. This is not something you will enjoy. We saw in the armor model already that it still has a lot of drawbacks. It is really not easy to play, and the reason why it's not easy to play is because this is played on gun. You have to utilize this high rate of fire gun with low alpha, and at the end of the day, a heavy with low alpha is always going to be pretty hard to play for people, to be honest. It's just not as accommodating as the higher alpha ones. So like for me, you know, I like this tank. I think it's a good tank. It does good damage as well. But for you, this may be the far opposite experience, to be honest. That's where, you know, we differ. Because I can, I mean, I wouldn't say easily, but I can make this kind of alpha and this kind of gameplay in which you need to shoot twice for their one shot work. You know, the BZ is getting a little bit off plate, always putting the gun down to... I can ask sometimes, why is the gun always down? Well, the gun is an object, right? And if they hit it, they lose penetration, or if they hit it with heat, they simply do not go through it. So having your gun down at all times, one, makes it so you're not exposing weak spots below the gun, which are very frequent, but two, also makes it so they have something annoying to shoot at. You can see that the tank is still Chinese by the fact that it misses that shot altogether. That's pretty normal. Or that one. So, you wouldn't have imagined, but we did 3k damage so far in this battle. And the gun sounds is pathetic. You know, like this gun sounds like a pea shooter, to be honest. I'm not a fan of this gun sound. It doesn't give me the I'm in a tank feeling. Especially not on a heavy. But, you know, it is what it is. But yeah, just kind of bullying these tier 7s and driving through them. We got pretty good, lucky with the paid actor, because I understand that in your battles, nobody ever shoots regular ammo. You're always playing against the sweatlers shooting full APCR, but when I watch the YouTuber, he's playing against guys that are too poor to even use a fire extinguisher. Right, I get this, but, you know, it is what it is. So, a quick 4k, you know, just driving through the city. Didn't lose that much HP because we angled well against the BZ, made his life pretty hard. And, you know, as a result of that, get a good game. And, you know, like, on tier 8, 4k is already really, really good, right? Let's not joke about that. Already a very good result, but we're not done just yet. A little damage, how about a little more? Spot out the chopper as well. And in this kind of a mem, you know, if you want to get maximum out of it, you have to be a bully. You have to be, I mean, it's on the edge, you know, like, you gotta bully, but you can't bully too much that you kill yourself in the process. And yes, that's an ISM in the middle of the map. Yes, he is paid. And no, you can't afford him. So, you know, just to give you a quick rundown. Why Canon 749 is in the middle of the map, I could not tell you. Am I happy that Canon 749 is in the middle of the map? Yeah, of course, man. Look at him. He's farming. He's taking it like a good boy. Alright. So, doing some more damage. It's always pretty nice. But you can see this gun, it's pretty reliable all around. So, it farms pretty hard, to be honest. Once it gets into the right scenario. I understand that looks like he's behind the corner, but it is a replay, so it's not always 100% accurate, or I'm cheating. Also a possibility. IMO, the cheating is more likely. If not, you know, illegal modifications, at least this YouTuber is using CCMM or some shit along those lines. Either way. Gonna hit this too. Then again, I'm aiming for a long time, so it's kind of expected to hit this. 6.4. And you wouldn't have imagined it, by the way, like this, I'm gonna be honest, kind of looked like a casual game of 1-1-0, but when you look at the damage result, it's not that casual at all, right? It's basically 7k damage. I mean, for a tier 8 tank with 300 alpha, that's a very, 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 very good result. Hit that too, 7,071 damage in the 1-1-0, 5 kills as well. And I understand that it is tier 7. However, you know, even for tier 7, this is a extremely, extremely, extremely good result. Not much else to say about this battle. Just good plays, good trades, and making the tank work. Right? So, continue on, you know, another tier 7 battle because I can. It's not always a bad thing to have these games. And you need, you know... But the soft +1, -1, these kind of games, I would say they did feel more frequent than before. I don't know. Like, I felt like I didn't see as many tier 10s as I used to. And I see more like, you know, tier 9s or mainly even tier battles on tier 8. I don't remember seeing tier 6 all that often though, altogether. When playing 1-1-0. I feel like it was very rare. Like, I can't remember any battle. We get a mines game though. T44 going up. Classic Chinese gun. The smallest puddle, hill, or whatever ruins its gun depression. That's a great shot against the CS63. And it's so great that the T44-100 retracts him after. Poor fella is probably not very happy. I mean, I wouldn't be very happy either if I was him. So that's a game starting with 300 damage. A nice shot. Nonetheless, but we're in a situation where you've lost the hill on mines, and I think this is the worst situation to be in. I just want to point out he didn't take a shot because of me. He took a shot because he stayed way too long. Before any of you in the comment section get some funny ideas like, oh my god, why did you block the T-44-100, Nike? I did not block the T-44-100, guys. Alright, relax. Anyways, the IS-2 classic. I just want to point out as well that this has nothing to do with armor flashlight. Alright, you should realize this kind of stuff by yourself as well when your pen marker lights up green that you can shoot it, you know. But nonetheless, just shutting down those kind of hateful comments as well. Fighting a few shots here against the IS-2. I mean, it's not like he's making it very hard to pen him either way. Getting some good shots against him. XM, however, the big danger. Gotta be super careful from that. And this is the best kind of gameplay you can really do when you lose the hill. Like, playing on this corner is the most productive, quote-unquote, kind of play. But at the same time, you know, once you lose the hill, it's usually pretty shitty. Unless you take back 1-2 line away from the enemy team immediately, the gameplay turns a bit stale. You're just at mercy of them peeking and making bad peeks and getting some random shots. And more likely than not, you're going to lose the game. Unless you have 1-2 line. If you have 1-2 line, then you have a chance of winning. Right now, when you look at the scenario, though, all they have on the hill is the LT-432, the IS. Bless his soul. Alright, bless his soul. He's just trying to have a good time in his IS. Alright, he's struggling enough as it is. You know, he's not fully there, to be honest. Like, the light's on, but there's nobody home. LT-432. You know, it almost looks like they're paid actors. Almost. I would almost be inclined to agree with you. But, you know, we got 3 kills out of this. We got 2.8k damage. The IS-2, in the meantime, has decided to make a bad play as well by pushing forward. T-29. This is not the correct position to play with a T-29 whatsoever. You want to be playing hold on, which means you have to be further on his right or your left when you're looking at it. That's a classic American turret. To be honest, lots of American turrets have this. T-34, T-29, T-30. The Lebwa has this as well, even though it's not American. Is there any others? T-32 doesn't have this at all, actually. I'm trying to think if there's more American turrets that have this side turret problem. But, you know, like, get a good shot. But you can see, like, they're not really struggling to pen me back. And that is 110. It's a tank that has some HP, that has some armor, but it doesn't excel at it whatsoever. Increasing the difficulty gameplay on it by quite a large margin because you don't excel at speed, you don't excel at armor, you don't excel at HP, you don't excel at alpha either. It's like you've got a little bit of everything, but not enough to make anything really stand out. The gun is the highlight of this tank. But then again, you know, it has low alpha, so like it's the highlight, but it's still pretty hard to play properly. Nonetheless, right? And you can see here, good usage of the terrain, angling us down a little bit, getting some shots onto the Tiger P, ending his life. Now looking towards the Super Hellcat. Take a shot from the F-12. I mean, Super Hellcat was gonna die, but the safest way to drop from the hill is through here, of course. There's many other ways to drop from the hill, but they're not all that safe, and if there's not like really any quick need for it, then why would you not take the safe way down? You know, there's still a Shorturl Emil and an M12 left as well. Put a little bit of extra damage when we get there. M12 gets spotted out. He's sitting out in the open. It happens, but it's again a good example of utilizing the tank to, I would say, almost the maximum of its capabilities and just farming out a little bit and trying to get as much damage as you can. And a shot against your steer as well. And it's just like, you know, keeping your HP to this point of the battle is always a good thing, simply because it allows you to just drive and shoot and get shot back, and you don't care because you have HP left that you didn't trade away in the beginning, allowing you to make more risky peaks at the end, but it doesn't matter anymore, which results into more damage, of course, endgame damage, and a good shot against the MX, and it's 6k, which is, again, really great result for a tier 8, especially in a lower HP pool like these tier 7 battles. Last but not least, we find ourselves on Ruinberg. A true test, you could say, even of the tank, because it's a tier 9 battle, which means that, you know, against all of the tier 8s, if you look at the list, there's very little tank on the enemy teams that have like less alpha than the 110 in this, to be honest. You know, you lose out on pure 1-for-1 trading against almost all of them. So the name of the game here should be to get as much free damage as possible, and Ruinberg does lend itself towards that kind of free damage aspect, at least from this side. Is that the best design? Is a different question, but it is very possible for you to find a decent amount of damage simply, you know, driving towards the F2 corner and shooting. It's not very hard, it's not very difficult, anybody can do it, and it's always available. T49 seems to be stock, pushing across. Classic. But yeah, Thelma goes middle, digs down a Barask, no surprise there either. Let me see the G-Sword. That one hit, you could see there was no splash. I think it penned as well, if I was not mistaken. But this is the average Ruinberg gameplay, I would say, in the beginning of the game, because what else is there to do, you know? What else is there to do? But still, in this day and age, you have people like this T44 kind of donating themselves in a way. You know, giving 2 shots up for free. We get a shot against the whole Re1 as well. He's pushing past. It's a interesting start on this map. You just gotta be careful with overpeaking this guy because, you know, 1 to 3 guys unspotted on the field that could shoot you. It's still minus half your HP. And it seems tempting, but when you have paid actors like I do, there's always somebody else presenting themselves to die. I will say when playing this corner, you have to be careful about one thing, and that's the thing that happens from time to time, but not very often, is the reason also why I'm backing off now. When you don't have G1 and when you don't have J1, which is rare, again, because it's actually just, Jesus Christ, what a miss. It's a good position to play. They can start and potentially will start overpeaking where the concept bomb B is. And when they have enough HP, they will take damage for it, but they will not die. And it can be costly. And point and case to the story, I didn't even remember that guy did that. That's, you know, what happens. Is he killing himself in the process? Yes. Does that take 400 HP away from you? Also yes. Could 3 of them have done that and take away most of your HP? Yes again. So it's just something you gotta be careful about and aware about when you're playing this position. The fact that you don't have anybody in J1 itself is criminal, though. It's nothing short of criminal. It's like one of the best positions on this map. On J1, J2 in the window or on the corner at H2. It's a position that should always be played by one of your less trade-worthy tanks. You know, like a tank destroyer, like a RHM even, or I don't know, like a Saladin or anything really. Could almost play there. It's just one of those positions that's pretty good to have one way or another. The E75 fires so we can cross back towards the Ures, and it's a tough position to be in. It's 2-5, we're losing the field, they're pushing behind us, the contender finds a kill though. We gotta be really careful from the E75, which is what we're doing. He's going to get a shot on us, I think. Yeah, he does. We were hoping we'd shoot the T44-100, but sadly the T44-100 burned to death, so like I said, it's not an easy situation to be in whatsoever. E75 peeking sideways, horrendous movement. Luckily to get a bounce there from the E75. Maybe the T44-100 wreck is pretty good after all, but now they're kind of peeking into us. It's still not a good 1-1-0 position though. It's not a good position for almost any tank, simply because the wreck is not big enough to properly cover you. So it's more like we're sitting here because we have to sit here. We don't want to get caught by this E75. If he does start side scraping us, we're really in trouble. Because there's absolutely nothing I can do against a side scraping E75. I don't even think you can pin the turret face of a side scraping E75. So, you know, there's that. But, you know, 6-7 down HP. It's a close game. It's a tough game. And it shows, of course, also the difficulty of playing this tank. It's 6-8 now. It's looking really dire. You don't want to cross over either, normally, because Selma's watching. And, you know, in this case, the Selma is watching. We find a shot against the SU, though. And the only reason we peeked here is because we figured out maybe the E75 was relocating. The T-44-100 gun really in the way. This is just a bad peek. The E75 ends up shooting, though, so that's something, again, to take into consideration. Might be able to peek the middle of the map because of it. Selma is sitting there still. Not really having a shot on him. You gotta be careful from the middle road. But the thing is, of course, that they're pushed towards the south side of the middle road, which means they don't get such good shots into you. Crossing over, missing the Selma. He does 49. I mean, all things considered, pretty decent trade. And somehow my TDs from the back, the RHM and the WT are holding off this field push, so it's not looking that bad anymore. It's like 9 to 11, but we're up slight amount of HP. Skoda fires. You still have to be careful because of the E75. If you cross over and the E75 comes back, he just pushes you and kills you in 2 shots. There's nothing you can do about it. Instead, you know, try to blind a little bit, but it's mainly about patience at this point in the battle. You don't really want to make the mistake that ends up killing you. Decide to cross after all. I don't think the squad has spotted us for this either. So we do manage to get across. Which is, again, you know, a bit sneaky. Ideally, we find a kill on the Skoda, right? That would be the best case scenario. But the E75 is rolling back. And, yeah. That guy doesn't seem like the brightest star in the sky, but it does give the contender an opportunity to kill the Skoda. And you see, this is why we didn't want to cross in the first place, because he's angry. He's angry. He's very angry in his E75. However, that's a good spot to hold. It's a good shot as well, tracking him. We get one more before he drives down, simply because he doesn't have gun depression. And, you know, this is a big benefit. Okay, he didn't shoot because he's a paid actor, but even if he did shoot, we would still kill him, you know? Like, nonetheless, we would still kill him. So, take that into consideration. Either way, he was going to be dead. We do end up keeping more HP, but we wouldn't be one-shot anyways against the Indian Panzer, nonetheless. Alright, we have a blind, so it's 5k. And we spot out an Indian Panzer. A bit lucky, but, you know, it's gonna be fine. You know, he's speaking not very great. And, you know, the fact that the E75 didn't shoot now lets us be like a 3-shot, I think, against the Indian, which means we're just going blow for blow. And I love going blow for blow with a homie, you know what I mean? It's like you both get, you both take a blow and then, you know, everybody happy, you know? That's just a very important thing. Replay lagged for a second, but he does end up killing us. But, you know, we end up with a nice and beautiful 6k nonetheless. As always, gamers, I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. I'll see you guys all in the very next one. Peace.